We're back, and we have a game number 3 coming up here between CompLexity and Xoloti. And I think everyone was a bit surprised, right? Like, we've heard about Xoloti, we've heard that they're, you know, a team to be reckoned with, but I don't think people expected them to take a game off of CompLexity in their first match. But then CompLexity, of course, came back with quite the vengeance. It was a very fast game, and now we're here at game 3. So what do you guys think? What are we going to expect? Do you think that CompLexity should be able to take this, clinch it out, or do you think Xoloti's going to have a little bit of an upset?
I feel like CompLexity should be able to. As much as I would like to see a team like Xoloti do very well in an event like this, I do think that they still are outclassed to an extent. However, constantly improving. But yeah, after especially what we saw in the previous game, and I go back to that final pick of the Huskar. When a team is doing that, it's a little bit of a oversight to me, and you know there's been a couple of times in this event where that's happened. Right, there's the one example with the Weaver into the Doom. Gambit did that.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do that. So there's just a couple of these that really scratch your head at, but you know, hopefully for a stronger draft in game 3 and at least a close game.
All right. What do we think, Kips? Are we thinking that, you know, Xoloti, maybe they might be able to pull out some other tricks that they haven't used yet and get the jump on CompLexity, or?
Maybe you save those for the playoffs. I'm not sure. In any case, I think that for CompLexity, really, the job is right now to stay focused. You had, like, I'm sure you got caught off guard in game 1. Now you've got yourself back in game 2. You won pretty easily, just, you know, following the structures that you learned. Now you got to hold on to that, because they don't have their captain here right now, and that means probably that, you know, they have a lot of young, skilled players on that team. I'm sure Miracle wants to go off right now.
Right.
But you can't always afford that, and especially as like they had one very awkward rotation in the mid lane where they feed a triple kill over to the enemy Huskar.
Oof.
It's like a bit of a
rough
blemish on an otherwise very smooth game. But at the same time, maybe, you know, a couple of those moments, a couple of these little stutter steps were enough to keep them in that mindset that, all right, you know, guys, if we mess this up, we're actually in trouble. So I'm hoping that they're going to be focused enough to pull off a smooth game here.
Okay, well, I mean, we're going to find out fairly soon. I'm sure we'll get a draft up. And like you said, it's interesting because, you know, they don't have Adam there. Adam is usually, you know, their drafter and their captain. Who's doing that right now, by the way? Do either of you know? Death is the one who's ready?
At least in-game, he's the one with the crown next to his head. So
okay,
I assume
because we don't really get to see that here on the screen, unfortunately, because we do have a different overlay.
I mean, CompLexity has always been a team. Even when Kyle was there, he would take input from the team, of course. So especially, you know, Zach is willing to give it that, and he's been around for a long time himself. But Death is the one, again, doing the picking.
Adam is definitely also not a solo drafter.
Yeah.
He is more like, you know, this nexus of the knowledge of his team who will then make like careful strategic choices.
So he's more of like the shot caller sort of style with the captain, like figuring out what's the next step?
Yes, of course. Like he's strategical, but also just, you know, in drafting, you have all of these. You have all of these experts sitting in a half circle around you, right? They know their matchups, they know their heroes, they know what they're feeling confident on, and what has not really been working for them this week. And Adam really excels in, you know, getting the honest opinions out of people, both in like, I can play this right now, and in he is safe enough to say to, you know, I can't play this right now. Okay. Which is something that also happens. Players say, oh, I can play this, when in fact, no, it would suit the draft if you could play this, but no, this is not the moment to try learning, I don't know, Medusa or something.
Sounds good. Well, we do have the draft up and running now, so won't be seeing that Coddle, no Tiny. And again, these are actually the same bands I believe that we saw in game number 2, right? The Tusk, the Elder Titan, and the Grimstroke all taken out.
Yeah. Yes. Keeping it the same. I don't know what CompLexity would have been on their side. I've been blanking on that, but
these two as well. And then the third ban. I'm actually blanking on the third ban as well.
Yes. It's the Magnus.
That was that last time as well.
That is the same. All right, so we've got the same sort of puzzle pieces all together there. Earth Spirit will get picked up for Xoloti.
All right, I'll stay over on this side.
Let's Juggernaut coming.
Yeah,
there you go.
If it ain't broke.
Why change a winning formula?
Okay, we're not changing things apparently.
Is this a rerun?
Got a replay going. Let's go. Let's work on that.
Right?
No, I guess I should get up. All right.
No Nature's Prophet again.
All right, so both these teams thought that
the Darkseer.
Second. I'm getting tangled up in
I wouldn't be surprised if
Zolto
bans Darkseer this time around.
I think it might be a good idea. He got a lot. This hero just gets so much now out of its lane.
Especially if you're going to pick Razor too. Again, we saw it several times. You just search whoever's linked up and
like
look at the same man. Same man. They're getting a full run back here. What is happening?
And over here.
Never give him a run back.
Yeah, and like the Lich Juggernaut lane especially is, I think I've even said that before during these qualifiers, like this is one of those lanes that you run in 2v2s, not because the Lich Jugger lane needs to practice, but because the offlaner and the 4 need to find out what in the heck you do against that. It is very hard to beat it. They can either, you know, stack the spin and the Lich shield on top of each other and just run you down for a massive amount of damage, or they can stagger them defensively, and so when you go on them, they always have either the shield or the spin. And the only way to really get them is to get them to stack it, survive it, and then turn around on them with abilities that are shorter duration. But Earth Spirit Razor right now doesn't really seem like the combination to do that with. You can do it with an Earth Spirit, I guess. Oracle ban again. Batrider ban.
It's the same.
Is production messing with us?
I know.
Well, the funny thing about these are, too, is that even though it's Monkeys technically playing support for this team, 2 heroes that he is really known for playing are those 2 heroes. Batrider and Nature's Prophet.
They get the Darkseer.
The Darkseer.
We watched
Banner Oracle themselves.
We saw some of Monkeys earlier playing with them, and he was so farmed.
The forward gaming match right there.
Yeah. So it makes sense that they'll get him.
There you go, Death. Enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Broodmother's actually, I would say, the 3rd hero on the list for Monkeys forever, if they feel like it's a comfortable enough game for it. I'm not saying that would be the case here, but that's another one of those kind of niche. He's probably one of the better Broodmother players, especially in NA at least.
Definitely known for it, that's for sure. It's not too many people that you see Broodmother getting banned again.
No. No.
What did we get here last time?
Yeah, I'm trying to think that.
I'm trying to think what came.
I don't think it was the anti-mage yet, right?
No, anti-mage was 4th. They picked their support, so which was Dazzle. That's right. Let's get it ready.
I know this is not a rerun though, because they thought about it much longer than last time.
Yes.
And this time it's just speed drafting. Now, Xolotl, this is your 3rd pick. This is where the draft turns. Are you going to change it up?
I mean, I still think Dazzle is a great pick.
Yeah.
I go back to what I said last time, too, when it was picked up. Decent laner against Juggernaut, so if they want to run a core Dazzle, that's where they could shake things up a little bit. An offlane Dazzle into the Juggernaut matchup.
Radiant team pick.
Okay.
So
they saw that you picked up Dazzle, like, we're going to go Anti-Mage first.
they're like, she doesn't know what we're going to pick, and then they just skip one, then we'll go back to Dazzle maybe. I don't know. What? Are they that confident that they think that, like, obviously we can't answer this, right? Because we're not inside their brains. We're not inside, you know, wherever they are that they're playing. And
definitely not inside their brains right now.
No, definitely. But, you know, you got to wonder, they're that confident that they think that they can, you know, run a very similar draft against the same draft. Like, CompLexity has the same exact thing going on.
The Huskar was the issue. And
it was.
That because, again, into the Nyx, and then they let them pick up Lina into it. So that could be what they're thinking.
Just do it again.
Their other lanes also got wrecked, though.
But Nyx Assassin... the break is still good against Anti-Mage.
Yep.
In fact, that might have been why they picked it up last time, now that I think about it. Was that because... Was Anti-Mage after or before? It was... I think the Anti-Mage came after, actually.
The Anti-Mage came after last time.
Because it was the Dazzle
and the Huskar as well, so...
Swear to God, if they go Dazzle here, just please change it up.
Break is just going to flip the table.
I'm still holding it.
Now, what other supports are there? Dazzle.
Yeah, like your brain is stuck on
That's
it
all
now,
that's
right?
stuck, right?
You can't get it out of your head now.
Witch
Doctor?
Speaking of Pokemon, he says his name over and over again.
You know, Witch Doctor did see a buff. We saw some Witch Doctor getting picked up. If we're in South America, but we're actually in Central America. Technically Northern, right? Mexico is Northern America?
Yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, the Bane is always a big thing for them.
Yeah. Bane against Juggernaut, actually, not too bad.
It's got the Fiend's Grip, which is pretty nice. But there's a lot of ways to kind of mess with that that channeled ultimate. What else?
I don't have too many ways to do it. Like, especially Darkseer, Surge, Bane can just sleep someone. And then, you know, no running away for you. Pretty good.
They're down to 13 seconds. So.
Shadow Shaman. Okay, so slightly different. Gives them a little bit more pushing potential. Some split pushing, too. We've seen a lot of these Shadow Shamans go and live in the top lane. Taiga comes to mind there, the way that he just kind of moves around.
Following in the footsteps of DJ.
Yeah, for sure. So that'll give them a little bit of, you know, more tower pressure for sure as well, which I think is something important when you have an anti-mage.
That's a less strong lane, though, than with the Dazzle. And you are going to, like, I imagine at least that they're going to run this Lich Juggernaut, perhaps even with the Nyx Assassin again, trying to get the first blood, and then after that you're going to have Nyx plus Darkseer up in your face. And I'm just having a hard time seeing how they are going to protect either this anti-mage or this Razor if they want to pick up a third core.
They also they're lacking on the lockdown pretty heavy too, right? You've got a Shadow Shaman who's got the Hex and he's got Shackles, but the problem with Shackles is you got to stand there and hold them and pray that there's not a Nyx Assassin sitting right behind you giggling to himself, right? And, you know, I feel like Z-Freak's a giggler.
I don't see that actually, no. Well, yeah, okay, maybe a little bit. He has those moments.
We all do, we all do. All right, so what's the final pickup then here for Team Xoloti, and what's the final pickup for CompLexity? I mean, they went with the Lina before for Limp, obviously.
That was the Huskar matchup, though, specifically,
True.
I think.
I mean, Limp Lina is just really
It's
fantastic.
good, but Lina in general as a hero right now is into an anti-mage too, actually. You could argue it's a little dangerous, so... but they just really liked it in the Huskar matchup, so they were willing to do it last time. But
they still really have the tempo advantage, though. And they were willing to play it into the Razor last time as well, so I have no doubt that Limp is ready to go into that as well. It could really do it. But that would deny them the possibility of, you know, actually counterpicking the last lane of Team Xoloti, because Xoloti doesn't really have an offlaner yet. Like
5 seconds remaining.
I really don't
Beastmaster's
think...
still there.
Yeah.
The Kips flowchart. When is Beastmaster a good pick? Always.
Always.
According to Kips. For good reasons, too. That would give them some more push, which would be pretty nice.
Give them some vision against the Nyx Assassin.
A little bit of lockdown.
Superior lockdown
roar.
versus Juggernaut. Beastmaster as a hero in general is just great, so I really like the Beastmaster. Axe is another one that comes to mind, speaking of lockdown against Juggernaut despite spin, so maybe another option they could go, albeit not as popular. Could get the Nyx Assassin out of Invis, you know, potential Berserker Skull.
10 seconds
Those poor supports last game, just like Kips was saying, they had 5 sentry wards out on the map, but it didn't matter. The anti-mage was just dying to Lina constantly. Not even an Invis hero. Just gonna go with the Dragon Knight here.
All right. So once again, they can run either of these mid or on the off lane. Or maybe, you know, solo safe lane DK, something like that. We've seen that happen. He does fairly well in these circumstances where he's pressured fairly hard. Let's say they're running the Razor lane again, actually. They seem comfortable with that.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So if DK is going to be mid, Timbersaw comes to mind off the bat. He doesn't really care about Razor too much. He's great against DK in the matchup. Doesn't have lockdown himself for the anti-mage, but you know, if he relies on his teammates, might not be a bad idea. He's not really susceptible to getting bursted this game either. Honestly, when I'm talking it out, I actually like the Timbersaw. I know Limp does play it a little bit. It's up there on his list of heroes.
I haven't seen him play it, I don't think.
I would put it like in his top 5, honestly, as far as comfortable heroes. Shadow Fiend, another one that very much so comes to mind, although not as strong this time around. Templar Assassin, definitely another one. Tiny.
Tiny is already banned, but they actually banned it out on their side. Yeah, that is a Limp special for sure.
I'd normally like the idea of an SF, but obviously not into a Razor, just because I want to see something ranged that can actually deal with these Shadow Shaman wards if necessary. And I do think that Shadow Shaman is a risky hero to just ignore, even though it's a support. Once those wards are down, you can't actually fight in that area anymore. Okay, they go with the Timbersaw, so it's trading push against push. And he'll excellently make up for this anti-mage as well. Just if he pushes bot, you push top. Doesn't matter.
All right, well, let's get some predictions out there. I kind of want to ask production for a change, like what they think they want to go for first. Huh? What do we go in production?
I think they're
I got radio silence here.
tapping out on it for now.
Oh, look at that. They're acting like they can't do it yet.
What was that? I'm sorry, production. They're being so generous and saying we go first. I'll go first this time because usually, you know, I ask you guys first. I'm going CompLexity. I like the Timbersaw pickup. I like their lanes with the Jug and the Lich. I think that, you know, they're very skilled players. They should have this in the bag. What about you, Breaky?
CompLexity.
CompLexity?
Feeling good about complexity today. I've had a turnaround. Yeah.
Don't. You'll jinx me, Breaky. Don't do this to me.
Did they call you, perhaps?
I might have got some messages. Yeah.
Yes,
all right.
Well, I'm going to go complexity too, if nothing else, because I could just like the difference in quality from these teams was very apparent to me from the previous game. And if complexity loses this, we're going to have some words.
Oh, wow. All right. So Kips is...
I'm going to message Adam and be like, yo, you're boys. You got to talk to him, man.
Man, there's a lot of eggs in this complexity basket coming out.
Freaking complexity, man.
All right, in production, of course, to be the contrarians, we'll be going Xoloti. So, don't have someone in your corner there, Xoloti. But right now, it's feeling overwhelmingly complexity.
And that mid matchup, it can go pretty one-sided. We've seen it before. Excuse me. That's why I, again, even offered it out there and being the one that Lim plays. So I think that's going to be the telling factor. And he just came off a lane with the Lena against the Huskar that he, on paper, should win and did. And we saw the dominance that he was able to have as a result of that. So could expect a similar performance here.
I'm sure he's feeling very good right. I'm sure both, everyone on the side of complexity is feeling good. They've, shaken off that first game. I think they had what did I say? I said it was like a Shrek, and actually Xoloti actually picked a Quap, which is pretty surprising too. But
it's interesting then that if they picked such a different lineup in the first game, that we now get two very similar drafts in a row.
Yeah.
When they lost really hard with a draft that looked a lot like this one previously.
Maybe they got a little experimental, and then okay, smoke's gonna pop because we do have the Earth Spirit.
It's 5 heroes.
Bottom,
Wow.
yeah, that's everyone. Run, Shadow Shaman.
Slowly waddling away.
Oh, they juked him, but they get the Frost Blast off. Couple of clicks. There's going to be the spin. Z-Freak's big old booty might be a little bit in the way here. But no, it should be a kill on Ektor. No problem.
Trying to get to Juggernaut, but they need to...
Can they? Hello?
I mean, it comes to a point, you just got to kill him.
As boots for Z-Freak, though. Or, well, at least fast boots for
Fast
Z-Freak.
boots, that way he can move out of the way when his jug's spinning around. It's unfortunate the way that choke point worked.
You see what Xolot's doing, though. They are going to set Razor in the mid lane, which, again, DK cannot lane against Timbersaw.
Do we see a shuffle, then? Do we see a move?
Probably not. I think it's just a case of, if you're limp, it's not like this is bad for him either. It's just a matter of... It's going to be more annoying because of the link, as you see coming out right here, but then he just Timber Chains away. That's why he held his point.
The one time that you get that Timber Chain, level 1.
It seems
get
like
away
it.
from Razor.
Yeah, he might suffer a little bit on the early levels, but he should be able to pull that back once he gets those points into Whirling Death. And in the meanwhile, the laning phase had started without DK, who's still making his way over to the bot lane.
And they actually sent
very slowly.
Lich Jug top here, too, so... Interesting.
This time, I think the Earth Spirit's going to want to body block this camp here as well. Yep, gets it off. That was fully worth the damage for him.
Fun to watch them run around in circles like this. This anti-mage is going to have the worst time up here. Poor Ifrit. Like you said, this is not the strongest lane, right? With the Shadow Shaman up there. I mean, it makes it so that way you can dish out a decent amount of damage with the right clicks coming out from your Shadow Shaman, but AM doesn't want to fight. AM just wants to farm, and it's a lot for a little Shadow Shaman to deal with.
Yes, if you have a Dazzle, you can trade some clicks with the anti-mage because you get extra regen. There's going to be slow coming out from the Dazzle as well, usually, and Dazzle trades really well in general. And instead now, if this Shadow Shaman comes up, he clicks pretty hard, but his range is not great.
Right.
So if he comes up too far, he's just going to get spinned down, and there's nothing either of them can do about it.
Looks like he's being relegated over there to doing some pulling and whatnot to maybe secure stuff a little bit better, but that's still very, very scary.
Yeah, and it's still just a single pull, so this lane is going to most likely, unless he gets the pull through here, is going to most likely just end up in a lane pushing in favor of complexity anyway.
I don't think Monkeys is going to allow him to get this other pull off. In fact, they're just trading hits here. That Frost Shield doing a pretty
Rasta hits
amount,
hard.
But
his right clicks hit really hard.
I'll turn around. Frost Blast. Oh, in comes the AM, though. If Freddy wants this kill, should be able to go get... This is time that he is not hitting creeps, though. Keep in mind. So, yeah, he doesn't even get the kill. It's time wasted. Time wasted. Well done on the side of complexity for...
I got a little bit lucky there. I think that they really didn't think the anti-mage would actually make his way over.
But he did kind of commit kind of hard on it. He chased him for a decent amount of time.
And Arasta's got to keep pulling if he wants to keep throwing out these nukes as well. So that's his primary method of harass right now. Just throw out the spells. Make sure that he doesn't actually come in right-click range. And then when he pushes the lane, he can hopefully pull, get his anti-mage back under the tower again.
Yeah, man, Timber, I can't say I expected Timbersaw to do this well against Razor in the mid-match. Obviously, he's done a great job at Timber Chaining ways. Regen.
Oh, that feels bad.
Pika2, Timber Chain.
Yeah, right up there. He's going to try to juke. Not going to be able to find it. The Impale's going to collapse on him, and there's the kill. Going over to Limp, as if Limp wasn't having a good enough lane.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out. He's just 16-2 right now against, well, he's picked up a little bit, obviously, since he's been missing, but he had about a 5 or 6 CS lead until he started moving right there.
It seems that the Timbersaw is doing so well that he doesn't even need Whirling Death to last it right now.
Yeah.
He's doing just fine.
The fact that, yeah, he doesn't even go as Q is not typical in most matchups, but obviously in this one makes a lot of sense.
Then coming out, trying to put some damage here over onto the Lich, and also just run away from everything being thrown on him. But they do eventually get the Shackles, and it's a good rotation because they find a kill. And it looks like they might be able to find the kill over here onto the Lich as well, though it seems like they don't really want to go for that dive. In fact, Lich's going forward. He's hoping maybe he can get a little bit more damage down, but isn't finding that opportunity right now. Not enough mana for the Frost Blast. Bottom lane, running around the tower here.
Death's just diving the DK, but
just Darkseer things, right?
He's got level 2 Dragon Blood though, so his regen's pretty good. Obviously physical, it's not physical damage, it's magical, but the regen still works pretty well for Esk, and yeah, I believe he saw Bracer on him too, so yeah, he's got some decent mitigation at least to deal against the Iron Shell harassment. But Death is still absolutely going to get free farm, as has been the case in most Darkseer games in this tournament.
And laning stage shaping up a lot better for Xoloti right now, though. Casual last hit on the Lich there. But if you look at the CS totals, it's pretty much even in all lanes except for, well, Death pulling a little bit ahead there. Oh, Z-Freak walking into 2 there, and not gets the rune or the stun.
He's going to get another one, though. Oh, Death did get... Oh, no, yeah, Pika2 is able to get the other one, by the way, but Rasta's still in trouble. One more auto attack gets him.
Nice.
So Pika2 got this bounty rune, but now he's in a bad spot himself. There's that Whirling Death. There's the kill on him.
There's that Death in general. Yikes.
So, my question is, how did we miss the point where Z-Freak somehow picked up an Ion Shell? Did he walk bottom to get that and then TP top?
He must have TP'd, yeah. That's, I guess, the only way, right? He did have one on him, didn't he? He can kill the Rasta.
I haven't seen Death leave this lane at all, so curious. Curious tricks, indeed.
You know, sometimes you just want to go bottom and visit your Darkseer and
get
a nice
some
little
tea.
shell. Yeah.
Exchange gifts.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh, nice Impale. Followed up with the spin from the Jug. It's going to be a very dead Ektor.
So this is normally where with a stronger lane, say with a Tusk or something, you could perhaps hope to trade. Slardar could be an option, something like that. But since they don't really have, like, they have an anti-mage and they don't really have the spells on their Earth Spirit either, they have to just take the death.
That's never a good thing.
No. Bottom lane again, kind of that gentleman's agreement, although Timbersaw over here. Oh, Z-Freak, he follows up. Beautiful. And they'll find a kill on the Razor.
See right there why he's pretty good against a hero like Razor. Again, that once that damage goes out, Razor's thinking to himself, ah, crap. That spiked carapace, a bottle for Nyx Assassin. He is really active this game.
It's kind of nice too, because remember we were talking in the beginning, game number 2, how we like to see Z-Freak on very active heroes, and that the Nyx Assassin sometimes can be a little slow, but he's been really on point.
Yeah.
Very on point, very active, and it's looking good with it.
Especially more so this game already, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And a shrine together, and he's going to TP right away. There's the shell.
Oh.
Going top.
To pick that up.
He's got a nice souvenir from his time in the bottom lane.
He actually bottled up a haste rune too. So
oh, boy.
He's looking for some kills.
Let's see, what's the levels of Miracle look like? He's level 5, isn't he? Yeah, so they might want to give it a little bit more time.
No, Z-Freak seems
no,
real
he's
hungry
going.
for
Yeah,
it
he's
right
like,
now.
guys, let's go. Come on, follow me. They're not gonna. That's a good job though by both Hector and Pika2. I don't know if it's just, again, they saw something or if it's just presence of mind. Okay, they do have the ward there, so they did see the Nyx assassin the whole time.
Well, they found themselves a Lich over here, and there's going to be the haste room pop from Z-Freak. He's going to turn that attention over to the anti-mage, slow him down just a little bit. There's 3 heroes down here, and it looks like Monkey's in for a lot of trouble. He's going to get shackled up. In comes Chakra. You have the level 6 over onto the Timber. Not going to be able to quite get that kill. I'm not sure. Oh, whoa, what just? All right, so Hector now is in for a world of hurt because he is not making it out of here alive.
Yeah, I don't know why he just doesn't go for it at least. He figured he was going to be stopped anyways, but running isn't going to work there. But we're not even done yet.
No, Yano making this rotation over onto Z-Freak, and there's going to be the blink forward, the roll forward too, going to stun him up, and they'll find themselves a cleanup kill. And Esk is just not having a great time dealing with this Darkseer. Being bullied around in between towers.
I mean, kind of. Again, you look at his CS, he's actually doing not bad. 44 and 13, just behind the Darkseer. It's more so, it looks like it's annoying, and it is, but again, level 4 Dragon Blood now. So his regen is very strong. He's got a full power because Omni Slash top lane. Her Spirit bounces over to the Anti-Mage, though. Unable to finish her Spirit as a result, and we'll get neither kill, but I suppose just pressures them out of the lane for now.
Yes, and the DK where we were at before also just gets that. No, I don't think he's going to give that to you this time, Z-Freak.
Oh, well, got a chance.
What I was going to say is that the Darkseer will also constantly shove the wave in your face, especially when you're doing this on the Radiant side. He has no good way to get... He can't cut behind your tower like he does on top. Oh, they're going on mid. That's a deep dive.
That is, and the TP's coming out as well, but Limp, you know, he's feeling really powerful. We'll be able to throw out the chocolate. They find a kill, though, over onto the Lich again. I don't think they're too concerned about it. The Anti-Mage actually joining in the fight. Limp now in for some trouble. He's actually just getting clicked down. He's got some stacks of that reactive on him, though. Doesn't have any mana. Doesn't have a clarity if he wants to try to turn around. Z-Freak trying to take their attention away, and it seems like he's doing a pretty good job of it here. Limp still does not have much mana. Going to be able to throw out the tower. He's going to go for it. He gets a double kill. Oh my goodness, Hector now is thinking, wow, that turned around really fast. Z-Freak chasing after him. He's got that frost shield, and that's a triple kill.
That spiked carapace just whipped off cooldown. Wait, was that on purpose? No.
I don't think so.
I thought the whoops indicates.
Yeah, probably not.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Whoa, okay.
That chakra that he threw out in the middle, by the way, that wasn't just randomly trying to deal damage before he died. That was getting his mana out so that the anti-mage couldn't hit him hard anymore. And then his stacks actually regen him back up again. And then mana boots into that beautiful burst of damage that we saw. Take down 3 people. And I guess dying to Roche at the end there is just sort of cherry on top.
That's whatever. But again, the spike carapace just came off cool. I was watching it literally like a fraction of a second for him to use it right there, or else he just dies, and that might not happen as it did. So very clutch timing right there.
Very well done. Lots of intricate pieces fitting together to make that perfect.
That is a good point though, Kips, and the Timbersaw Pig. One thing I did overlook a little bit is the Mana Void potential. He wanted to be, and that might be telling of how he builds. I'm not expecting to see a Bloodstone almost because of that. He is going to go Yules, which of course is still fine, but of course the more mana you get with items like Bloodstone, then all of a sudden you're setting up to be a bigger target. So perhaps more like armor based in general. There's that break.
Good denial on here, although we do have quite a few.
Juking.
Quite a few heroes with that Ion Shell. The roll forward, though, coming out. Gonna slow them down just a little bit. Ether Shock. They'll turn their attention over to the Darkseer, and they pop the Spike Carapace, but they're not really interested in it right now. And they'll be able to go and take down the Darkseer. It's feeling like Z-Freak's not gonna be long for this world, too. There are 4 heroes, though, in this bottom lane, and Ifrit is gonna get bullied here from the top.
This time they are stopping that Darkseer from building up as fast as he did before, though. And yeah, he hit the power spike with that Helm of the Dominator again. So he was able to finally push through that DK, get his tower. But the DK got a lot of farm just brought to his doorstep, and I think he's not unhappy about that at all.
Radiant are scanning.
Yasha into BKB for Yano. So no drums that we've been seeing fairly popular on these Razor builds. Just going to go the Yasha for that movement speed instead, as well as the stats it provides. And then BKB this game is, yeah, pretty necessary. Let's say so. I do like those drums, though. It's almost, again, it almost, to me, seems like, just especially with that individual move speed change, seems like a core, but Yano has different plans. That DK, though, like, it kind of just hit me again. Again, the break effect, we saw it in that last fight, although it turned. That'll be a factor. So no matter how tanky Dragonite tends to get, at least they'll be able to break through how much ever armor it provides. Don't know off the top of my head, but
yeah, that is pretty curious when you think about it, right? Because they already had picked the Nyx Assassin. They picked a DK willingly into it.
Now, I'll say this. I might be overselling the break effect a little bit. Again, it's not Viper-esque. You can't spam it like crazy. It is a fairly longer cooldown, and it's just simply the auto attack out of your Vendetta. So, yeah, it's not going to be. It's not like this freaking thing that should completely deter you from these heroes that are susceptible to break effects, but it is a factor.
Well, then, you know, at the end of the day, you pair it with the fact that you've got a Timber Saw, right? And against any sort of strength hero, that's also going to be a concern, obviously. So, TC trying to put some damage on that bottom tower, though, and little ring around the rosy over here. This poor Shadow Shaman just cannot seem to get away from this annoying little ion shell that's following him through. They'll throw a Hex out, you know, just using his spells. Jug is still down here, as is Z-Freak.
They're waiting for these creep waves to die, but I think Secret might have
There's a lot of people down here now. I don't think you want to go into this.
Know
look at they're searching. You're like, I'm pretty sure.
Well, they know. He showed earlier.
TP, though. TP coming through. We've got several of these heroes. Looks like, again, Z-Freak turning his attention. They've got that Omni Slash. Should be able to take down Donald. He's going to get taken down now, and there's going to be the whirling running through here. Limp. They're going to be able to pull this guy back in. Oh, Esk, you're in for so much trouble. There's too many trees that you cannot hide behind.
Yeah, I thought that Z-Freak was, you know, going to wait there for the creep wave to die so that Miracle could come in for the Omni Slash, but they do in the favor of diving.
Yep.
And that's an easy secure on the Razor kill. And then, yeah, DK stands no chance against a Timber Saw, even this much later. And especially not when surrounded with that much of cuttable trees.
I love Timber Saw. Like, his whole deal is, like, so crazy. He's got one of the best monologues, I think, too. Good old Rizrak.
Yeah, I know I'm a fan of Skywrath Mage's
I do like
myself.
it, but have you heard the extensive monologue that Timbersaw has about the day that the trees murdered his family?
Yeah, I have actually. It sure is something.
Is this Slack's lore or is this actual
This
lore?
is actual
lore. Timbersaw is pretty.
You have to ask if it's Slack's lore.
Go look up his voice lines on the wiki. There's some real interesting ones in there. I'm wondering what kind of stuff the Valve offices were using on that day, because that sounds like fun.
DK went the hand of Midas. I guess we're just like in the Midas meta, and I wasn't aware.
Yeah, we've been seeing it on a lot of heroes.
We're seeing it on just, I think we're getting to that point where it's considered a valuable tool. And
I gotta say I dislike it on the DK though. For DK, right now, honestly, you'd want to gather S4, take down some towers, and then with the gold you get from that momentum, I think he could have had this initiation tool already, either the Blink or like a Shadow Blade. And he's going into it now, but he's losing a lot of time and he's losing a lot of towers.
That's a top tier 2, and Z-Freak's just protecting, getting information, realizing it's a free tower here.
It's actually pretty wild. Like, you look at the positioning coming out from these guys. Again, Z-Freak very forward. You've got Jug that's just farming up the jungle. Like, they own this whole chunk of land. And there's nothing that Zolotl can really do about this right now. They're going to say, all right, well, you're hitting our tier 2. I guess I'll try to hit your tier 1. I don't know. And again, there we go. There's that break we were talking about, Breaky. Dragon Form going to get used. They're turning back around. They should be able to just pop them.
Yeah, nice collapse right there. Exactly. That's one thing you can ideally do is then, split push, of course, but that's a tier 1 mid tower. It's still being up, one of the strongest objectives in the game early on, especially, and they haven't been able to take it out yet, and that pays off for CompLexity to respond and now open up Roshan, as we saw them doing right there. So I assume it's going to be a free Aegis for Juggernaut. Helper Smasher, help him with that attack speed nearby. He is queuing up the Bloodstone, so I suppose no matter what you really get out, I kind of was thinking through the options, Shivas and Lotus, and these all provide a fair amount of mana, so maybe in that logic, you're going to get mana anyways. So maybe just not worry too much about the potential mana void.
I mean, he is, it'll come in handy right now. He's 10-1-1.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get more kills, more charges, but that is something that at the same time does scare me a little bit, because it's going to be a big mana void potentially.
Well,
be careful.
Potentially. The anti-mage still doesn't have his Battle Fury. He's working on it. He's getting real close, but at 17.5 minutes, real close doesn't really get it.
Yeah. I mean, the momentum coming out from CompLexity right now is just so strong, too. I think they're just figuring they're going to keep rolling with it. I mean, ideally, that's always the mentality that you hope you're going to just continue, you know, steamrolling.
Yes.
But you never know. All it takes is one bad fight in Dota 2, you know?
Yeah.
Really start turning the tide.
You have a little bit better of a high ground fight with the Lina just because of her range, so you can easily shoot down that tower from afar. But in this case, I figure if they use a Timbersaw as a frontliner, there is honestly not much in the way of damage that can chew through a big tanky guy like that.
Look at this Hellbear Smasher is like his bodyguard. It's been chilling with him. It was an Alpha Wolf last game, but I don't know if he just can't find an Alpha Wolf or he just prefers the attack speed this time around either way.
I just, especially because Jug's got like that whole Japanese thing going on with like, you know, the Sakura and everything. I just hear like the Japanese, yes, boss, every single time. But we do have a fight breaking out over here. Maybe a little bit too deep here, coming out from Z-Freak. He's taking a lot of damage. We'll be able to get a nice impale and they'll get a wall down as well. Get the shot coming through, but it doesn't matter. This Magnetize doing a lot of work, as is Miracle, as they just go running at them.
He uses Hand of Midas.
He's got the Battle Furies finished on the AM now, but that is very dead. Shadow Shaman and the rest of the team just going right back to that objective. DK, he wants to do anything. He just cannot find an opening here.
He killed the Hellbear Smasher with his Midas, but yeah, because having the Midas and that's really it, he's not really a big threat right now. He's not intimidating enough.
Z-Freak is just chasing them all the way back. Does not quite land that impale.
He meant that.
Yeah, sure. It was just to make him look cool, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, let me scare you.
Just trying to trade base.
He's doing some damage.
He's doing something. You do whatever you can, but I don't know.
I mean, he's not going to be doing anything here, to be fair. So I think if we're doing the right thing.
TP's coming out, though. They will try to run out here. The Jug going to get held up by the Razor, but again, he just pops. They just slice right through him. Z-Freak finding that opening. Now, Ektor is in so much trouble. He's out of mana. He's just a little Shadow Shaman against the world, and they're just going to keep chasing him down. Slowly but surely, they'll get another kill. So that is the Shadow Shaman down, Razor's down. Got the buyback on the Shadow Shaman. I don't know if he wants to go back out there and get murdered again quite as fast, but we'll get the buyback. There's going to be the roll forward again. Limp is just rolling around like a yo-yo of death.
They can't touch him, yeah.
They can't do anything to him. And look at this poor Shadow Shaman. He's like, oh God, mistakes are made. I should not be here anymore. And they'll just turn their attention again over to Esk. This is looking like the beginning of the end, my friends.
I would say the end of the end.
Savage Kips.
They have to make it official, but I mean, I agree.
I don't think you just play it out, right?
This is, of course, yeah, you play it. This is game 3, of course. You play it out, but that's your set of racks dead top lane. They're going to just go mid now.
3 diebacks.
And yeah, Timbersaw he really is untouchable. And oh, by the way, if you somehow kill him, he's coming back up with an ace.
Yes, for sure. That's just.
Maybe it's going to take them so long to kill him that his Aegis runs out beforehand.
There you go.
Right as they're about to
Gotta look at it that way. Now we've got someone chasing after the Courier. We've also got chasing after the Lich.
All right. Timbersaw's not the greatest at actually hitting buildings himself, but he is
trying,
great at
though. Look at him. Look at those little mechanical arms.
And he just picked up his Bloodstone, too. How unfortunate. He didn't have it before all that.
I mean, they're still walking at him. There's a chance to get many more of these. Jug, just look at the speed on this guy. Just zooming around. Ektor didn't stand a chance. Now, Limp says, I would like some more charges for this Bloodstone, please. Now, they do need to be cautious. They need to be paying attention to the objectives and not just, chasing everyone around here.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, I'm just...
You make a great point, but yeah, this is...
I don't think they're listening, Moxie.
They're not listening, no. Clearly they're not. They're having too much of a good time. It's, please don't stop me now playing in the background. Clearly.
I have been here before.
I'm sure. They actually use the wards to push them out of their
I think it's the first time I've seen a Shadow Shaman ward. That poor guy. Look at him. He's level 6. He's getting shredded.
First time you saw those wards too, I think, unfortunately.
Yes.
Oh, Razor.
There you go. He gets his 100 damage talent on Timbersaw.
All right. Now he's ready to hit the towers. GG, well played comes out from Xoloti. So CompLexity going to be able to finish up this game. What is that?
2-1.
2-1.
They're going to be moving on and playing. It was J-Storm, right?
Yeah,
that's forward game. He beat them in the winter final. So, yeah.
Is that our next game coming up?
I would assume so.
Okay.
So yeah, J-Storm versus CompLexity, setting up to be a pretty good one there. Again, ultimately, no team's knocked out just yet, so Xoloti just going to the lower bracket. They'll play, I guess, the 3 seed from the other group. Again, we'll have to find out who that is. But a team that showed hope here, and we didn't get to witness their victory, but again, I'm sure that looked decent. Back-to-back games, though, where the final pick, a little questionable. Again, a DK into the break effect / not into your no-one matchup. Now, DK usually is a very safe option, so I can't really blame them there. But Timbersaw just so happens to be one of those horrible. They had to swap things up. It kind of just got funky. And they couldn't really play their game as a result. And there you go.
Right, there's the brackets up there. So winner of J-Storm versus Complexity, going to make it up to the upper bracket. And then, of course, over on the side of Group B, it's going to be either, so Evil Genius has made it up to that bracket as well. We'll be facing off with Flying Penguins again.
No, Evil Genius is going to be playing team.
Going down.
Yeah. So Flying Penguins is already going. They're the #1 seed at Group B, but it'll be team versus them to see. And obviously, again, that's Evil Genius it's either they get second place, go to the winner side, or they lose that somehow, and they go to the lower bracket. Who knows what's going to happen?
Kings, right? That's always the
in international major tournaments. Not the North American qualifiers.
First time for everything. You never know.
Suppose so, Moxie. That would be crazy.
I'm sure they bring their A game. But final parting thoughts on that match, Kips.
I think that if you're with your back against the wall and you're Xolotl, do something different. Change it up.
Okay.
Their game 2 was not the stuff of wonders, and I'm not sure why you'd think that the game 3 would do anything different. Like, maybe if you get like a really big twist in the draft, but honestly, a setup with an Earth Spirit and a Razor right from the start is not really suited to that anyway. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing maybe a little bit more of an adventurous spirit from them going forward and seeing some other stuff because they had success with that before.
Yeah. For sure, and I think, moving forward into our next match with Complexity versus J-Storm, I doubt that J-Storm allows Complexity to draft almost the same exact draft as they do in the first game.
They're not going to give up Lich and Juggernaut.
I didn't think they would, but we will be back with more NA Dota, so stick around.